Allen's private library. As I reached for a high shelf, my sleeve slipped down. A small star-shaped birthmark appeared on my left arm.
Mr. Allen suddenly stood up. His face turned pale. He walked closer without saying a word. His hands trembled. "Where did you get that birthmark?" he asked quietly. "I was born with it," I answered. He stared at it for several long seconds. "My little daughter had the same mark." His voice almost disappeared. "We lost her many years ago." For the first time, I saw tears in his eyes. That day changed everything. He no longer shouted at me. Instead, he asked about my dreams. He wanted to know whether I liked reading. He asked if I wished to go to school. I answered yes before he even finished the question. The following month, I entered a classroom for the first time. I was older than many students, but I did not care. Learning felt like opening a window after living in darkness. Every new word gave me hope. Every book showed me a bigger world. Mr. Allen hired tutors to help me after school. He taught me about business. He explained how companies grow. He showed me that success comes from honesty, discipline, and kindness. "I cannot change your past," he often said, "but I can help you build your future." Those words stayed in my heart. Years passed quickly. By the age of 24, I worked beside him every day. He trusted me with important meetings. He asked for my opinions before making decisions. Employees respected me because I listened to them. I remembered what it felt like to be ignored. I never wanted anyone else to feel that way. One quiet evening, Mr. Allen invited me into his office. "I've been thinking," he said. "You've become the daughter life gave me." My eyes filled with tears. He smiled gently. "I have no children left to continue my work." He handed me a folder. Inside were documents naming me as the future leader of his company. I could hardly breathe. "I don't know what to say," I said. "You don't have to say anything," he replied. "Just promise me you'll always remember where you came from." "I promise," I replied. When he passed away 3 years later, I kept that promise. I became the company's new president. Some people doubted me because I was young. Others doubted me because I had once been a poor servant. But I refused to let fear control my life. I worked harder than anyone else. I treated every employee with respect. I increased salaries whenever the company earned more money. I created scholarships for children who could not afford school. Every winter, we delivered warm clothes and food to families in need. People often asked why I cared so much. They did not know I had once stood in those same food lines. One snowy evening, I was driving home after a long meeting. The streets of Chicago were crowded. Snow covered the sidewalks. As traffic slowed near a small park, I noticed an elderly woman sitting alone on a bench. She wore a thin coat that could not protect her from the cold. Her hands shook as she held an empty paper cup. Most people walked past without looking at her. Something inside me told me to stop. I stepped out of my car with a warm blanket and some food. When I handed them to her, she whispered, "Thank you." Her voice sounded strangely familiar. She lifted her head. For a moment, time stopped. Although her hair had turned gray and deep lines covered her face, I recognized her. It was my mother. She looked at me but did not know who I was. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "My eyes aren't very good anymore." I struggled to breathe. "Do you have any family?" I asked. She looked down. "I had a daughter once." "What happened?" I asked. "I made the biggest mistake of my life." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I believed giving her away would save her. Instead, I lost her forever." My own tears began to fall. I whispered, "You didn't lose her." She looked up slowly. "You gave her away?" Her eyes searched my face. Then they grew wider and wider. "Julia?" I nodded.
She covered her mouth with both hands. "I'm so sorry." She cried harder than I had ever seen anyone cry. "I wanted to come back for you, but I was ashamed. Every year it became more difficult." I stood silently. The little girl inside me still remembered that painful goodbye, but the woman I had become understood something else. Holding hate for so many years had never made me happy. I helped her stand. "Come with me." She was surprised. "You still want to help me?" she said. "I can't change the past, but maybe we can change tomorrow." She hugged me tightly. For the first time in many years, I felt like I had a mother again. A week later, another surprise waited for me. My assistant entered my office. "There's an older man asking to see you." When I walked downstairs, I saw him immediately. Even though time had changed his face, I recognized him. My father. He looked weak. His shoulders were bent. His confident voice had disappeared. "I heard your story," he said. "I don't deserve forgiveness." He lowered his head. "I spent years believing money and pride were everything."
I was wrong. I lost my family because of my own choices. Silence filled the room. I remembered every lonely birthday, every hungry night, every tear my mother had cried. Then I remembered Mr. Allen's favorite lesson. The strongest people are not those who never suffer. They are the ones who refuse to let suffering become hatred. I walked toward my father. Slowly, I offered him my hand. He looked at it in disbelief. "You can never change what happened," I said. "Neither can I. But if we keep living in the past, we will lose what little time we still have." He took my hand and began to cry. Months later, our family looked very different. We were not perfect. Some days were uncomfortable. Some conversations were painful. We often spoke about the mistakes that had changed our lives. But we also laughed together. We shared meals. We celebrated birthdays that we had missed for many years. Forgiveness did not erase our pain. It simply stopped pain from controlling our future. Today, whenever people ask me what success means, I do not talk about my company, my house, or my money. I tell them success is going to sleep with a peaceful heart. Success is choosing kindness when life teaches you anger. Success is believing that broken families can still find hope. My name is Julia. I was once the little girl nobody wanted. Today, I am living proof that your past does not decide your future. No matter how dark yesterday was, tomorrow can still be filled with light. And if there is one lesson my life has taught me, it is this. Love does not always remove pain, but forgiveness can set your heart free. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. There may be someone out there who needs this message today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next story.